Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Cinderella. She lived in a small cottage with her wicked stepmother and two selfish stepsisters who never treated her kindly. They made Cinderella do all the chores, from sweeping the floors to washing the dishes, and never gave her a moment's rest. But Cinderella, with her kind heart, always faced her challenges with a warm smile. One sunny afternoon, an exciting announcement was made across the kingdom. The king was hosting a grand ball at the palace, and everyone was invited. The ball was in honor of the prince who was returning from his travels and seeking a bride. Cinderella's heart filled with joy at the thought of attending the ball, dancing in a beautiful gown, and perhaps meeting the prince. But when she pleaded with her stepmother to let her go, her stepmother sneered and laughed. Cinderella was heartbroken, but not surprised. Her stepsisters were thrilled, and they spent the next few days preparing their finest dresses, smearing themselves with the richest perfumes. Cinderella helped them get ready, with a heavy heart, her own dreams buried under the weight of endless chores. On the night of the ball, as Cinderella watched her family leave, her tears fell onto the cold stone floor. But as the moon's beams shimmered down, something magical happened. A gentle, shimmering light filled the room, and in front of Cinderella stood her fairy godmother, a kind old lady with twinkling eyes and a loving smile. "Why are you crying, dear child?" asked the fairy godmother. Cinderella wiped her tears and explained her longing to go to the ball. "Fear not, my dear," twinkled her fairy godmother, "you shall go to the ball." With a wave of her magic wand, she transformed a pumpkin into a splendid golden carriage, mice into coachmen, and a group of friendly lizards into footmen. Lastly, she turned Cinderella's worn dress into a sparkling gown adorned with delicate glass slippers. Cinderella gasped in amazement and thanked her fairy godmother. "But remember this, my sweet," the fairy godmother warned, "the magic will vanish at the stroke of midnight, so you must return before the clock strikes 12. Cinderella nodded, feeling her heart swell with hope and gratitude. As the carriage whisked her away to the palace, she felt as if she were floating on a dream cloud. When she arrived, the prince could hardly take his eyes off her. They danced together all evening. Time flew by, and Cinderella was blissfully happy. But suddenly, the clock began to strike midnight. Cinderella panicked, remembering her fairy godmother's warning. She dashed away, her heart pounding, but as she raced down the palace steps, one of her glass slippers slipped off her foot. She could not stop to retrieve it, as the magic began to fade. The next morning, the kingdom buzzed with excitement. The prince had found the glass slipper and announced that he would marry the girl whose foot fit the slipper perfectly. Winds of hope began to flow through Cinderella's heart once more. When the prince arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters tried to force their feet into the dainty shoe, but to no avail. Finally, Cinderella approached shyly, and with a gentle nod from the prince, she slipped her foot into the glass slipper. It fit perfectly. Her stepmother and stepsisters gasped in disbelief, and the prince smiled as he recognized the love and kindness radiating from Cinderella's eyes. "Will you marry me, kind maiden?" he asked.